Hello everyone and happy Saturday. So I thought I would do a book reveal because I got the author copy from the publisher. I'm so excited. Look how good she looks. Oh my goodness, Schiffer just exceeded my expectations. I mean, you guys know how much we love our gold. Look at the gold foiling with the two stamps that styles that are in the book. I mean, it's just yummy. I really wanted this book to have this coffee table kind of vibe, or, you know, like an inspirational book that you guys would flip through to get inspiration, but yet there's practical, actionable steps on how to do all of the different techniques that I have in the book. So I'm going to do a flip. And for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. This is a book project I've been working on for a couple of years now. Actually, it's been in the publishing process for 18 months. And the book was written 2 years before then. So this has been 4 years in the making. And the techniques in the book are techniques that have been collected from about 11, almost 12 years of Gelli printing with Gelli Arts plates. And most of these techniques I've shared over the course of my YouTube channel. And so most of these you can go back and find things that I've done. Many of my patrons also know that we've done a lot of these techniques that if they haven't been shared on YouTube, we've done them in Patreon. So now everyone gets to enjoy these techniques. I am uber excited. So thank you for stopping in. Please hang around, do the flip with me. And then I have a technique that we're going to jump on the gel plate. And I'm going to show a combination of two techniques that I think are going to be really cool. And it's going to involve the scripting stencil that is in the book. So there's a scripting stencil, and then there's the Kuba fabric stencil that we've used a few videos before. So I'm excited about that. So I'll show you that. And part of this idea of the book is, and I'll start flipping. Look at the first pages. Oh, look at all my intuitive scripting. Like, I didn't even know they were going to do it like this. I am so excited. They had me when I opened the first page, right? So you'll see that it's gel plate printing for mixed media art, taking your visual storytelling to a next level, because I've also, incorporated the concept of art mythos. So this book is also about inspiring you, giving you things to think about, storylines to develop in your own works. It's not just about how to Gelli print. It's about how to not only use this as a mixed media tool, but how to expand your awareness around your art and around your storytelling. So you get a lot in what we're doing here. So right here, it's opening. It's dedicated to my grandson, my first grandson. This book is dedicated to 𝐏𝐻𝐿𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐄, my first grandchild, who brought me immense joy while I wrote it. Your presence reminded me to stay lighthearted and playful, which is something every artist should remember. And I put that there because I felt that it's something we all could relate to. You know, having fun, staying in the moment. You know, no rights, no wrongs. And then acknowledgments to my children, Shen, Miles, and Zion, who constantly keep me focused on the pursuit of my own dreams. And then I had an amazing group of patrons that for a solid year paid $100 a month into Patreon to give me that extra cushion so that I could work on the book and didn't have to worry about, so much bringing the money in. I mean, that's a big thing for us artists. And many of them are still contributing, but Cora Couchman, G. Davidson, Reiko Fuji, Kate Golding, Anna Javier, Cheryl G. Kinney, Cynthia McKenzie, psychologist, Sandy Ray, and Betsy Reisner. And I have so many patrons at all the levels that were supporting me and, cheering me on. And I thank all of my patrons. I have over 300 and something patrons, and you guys are all just amazing. And I love you dearly. And I give you a lot over there, don't we? Lots of behind the scenes stuff and hangouts and stuff. And additionally, I want to express my heartfelt appreciation to Eva Rosansky. Many of you guys know Eva. She's been my virtual assistant for many years. And she's had to take a break right now because she's had a number of things that have gone on her world, but whose unwavering support and countless hours of content organization helped make this book a reality. So Eva, I love you, I love you, I love you. So I'm just going to do a quick flip. You can see how juicy she is. We have a lot of, so it's a lot of inspirational stuff, but you know, clear pictures showing all of the supplies that are needed. Good, you know, always the materials for every style. So one color background. So this book builds on it. So how do you get just a good one color background that also can, you know, support your collages and your artwork, like yummy backgrounds. You know, that's what this is about. So everything that's needed's there. Then it's a step-by-step, and the process is also clearly outlined. So one, you can clearly see that there's nice, you know, black boxes that correlate with each step. So you're never going to be, and then I always have tips on every technique. So there's really a lot of very clear, that's from Mr. Schiffer thanking me, and I'm so thankful. But you can see there's really very clear steps on every part of the process, and then each step is really annotated very nicely in the book. So you won't be lost at all. You'll be able to build so many on all the various techniques that you can do. Like I said, there's a lot of yummy pictures, so you can really see my art close up to see exactly how some of these things pan out. And so, good stuff. Oh, yep. And then in the back, there's a gallery of my art. This is the block printing that I've recently been introducing. It's in the book. So there's a step-by-step on how to use block painting and intaglio inks on the gel plate, working with fabrics, large scale. So yes, large scale gel printing is in here. I've been doing this for a number of years. I know I've had some folks come to my channel and accuse me of just getting started on it, and I should share out with others, but no, guys, this book has been 4 years in the making. I've been doing large scale for quite a while. But then there's a gallery of all my work, and in the back, which is the good part here too, will be both of the stencils. This is the Kuba's fabric stencil, and then this is the stencil with the scripting. And so they're in this nice little pouch at the back, so it's going to be easy for you to access them. And use them. And today what we're going to do is we're going to work with, this one right here, if I can get it out. I'm going to work with my sample that I worked on, because I kind of want to keep this nice and neat until I get more copies of the book. But so we're going to work with this little scripting one today. You know, I had to include scripting because many of you guys have been following me for a very long time, and you love my scripting. You've taken my scripting workshops and stuff. So I would be remiss if I didn't give you a scripting stamp with the book. So just a real quick review. I wanted to spend that time showing you all the a quick flip through. Many of you have already purchased the book. If some of you haven't purchased it yet, it's on Amazon now. Periodically, I will get calls. I will get emails saying, "Hey, where's my book?" And it's funny because the book right now, the pre-sales were available on Amazon. It's still on Amazon as a pre-sale. The link will be below. So the pre-sales just means that you're getting in, you're going to get yours rolled out first, even before the stores. I think they'll be in the stores a couple of days after yours will start shipping. So you're going to get it right away without having to go to the store and then maybe deal with the fact that there are no copies. But that's totally controlled by Amazon. So check your Amazon email. Amazon did send an email out saying, hey, the book will start shipping on such and such a date. I think they said October 30th. Don't quite remember, but they will let you know. So the book is being shipped by Amazon if you did the pre-sale. The publisher sends the books to Amazon, and the Amazon fulfills them. You can also go to Schiffer Publishing and buy directly from their site, because the book is on their site as well, or go to your local bookstore. And I know they're in stores globally. They're in just about every country. I've gotten the list, and I'll share it out as well for those who may want to make sure that they find it if you have a hard time, because every country doesn't necessarily have the Amazon to be able to purchase from. So I've heard that from some of you all as well. But anyway, we're going to go down to the table and we are going to get started on some ideas of combining you can do one or two color pulls. We'll do both. And then a technique of using our Iroshizuku inks, our fountain pen inks, through the stencil as a dauber to really get ink, that really beautiful quality of ink on paper. That is what we're going to do. So we're going to combine two techniques, and you'll find that when you work in the book is going to be very easy for you to start thinking, oh, I can take chapter 1 and then let me take chapter 3 or chapter 10 and do those techniques together. So there's 20 chapters, or I think a little bit more than 20, maybe 24 chapters. And each one of those techniques really can be, you can do it like a la carte. You can be able to pull from here or there or whatever. And I encourage you to do as many combinations of chapters as you're inspired to, because that's how I built my gel printing library of techniques. I literally just would do different techniques together, and then I would get a whole different look from them. And that's, so since that's how I created the way I gel print, I wanted to have the book structured in a way that will allow you to have your own unique approach to combining techniques. Alrighty, we'll be back with working on the gel plate. Okay, I'm back. So let's start painting. So what we're going to do is, this is the like Celadon. It's one of my fave colors. It's a matte acrylic. So we're just going to pull a couple of sheets of one color background. Now my plate is already dirty, so we're going to be able to pull some sort of multi-layered prints. And that's one of the things, that was one of the original components of my old wall technique years ago when I first started gel printing. I just didn't see the need of cleaning my plate. Because there's so much good material and information on there. So early on, 10 years ago, I wasn't cleaning my plate. And what happens is you get all these complex colorations and what have you that go on. So for your first pull, a lot of times when you're first starting, your plate is fresh, you're not going to have that buildup. So your first few sheets are going to be pretty clean. But I encourage you not to clean it. Just keep on letting it build up, and what'll happen is you'll get this amazing layers of color. So you see that? Even though I put one color down, because I have these little remnants of stuff on my plate, you get this multi-faceted print just with one color. Now we'll put that, let's just use the Celadon again. So we'll put it down and you'll see how progressively the print will become clearer and clearer. So I still have some stuff on the plate. So we're still going to get some additional, information pull, but it's not going to be as much as this one. So what you can do is just keep on, pulling until you get to a place where you've cleaned the plate, or you can go on to another color, however you want to do it. But it's just an interesting way to work to immediately get some really cool backgrounds. So I'm still picking things up off the plate, but you can see how it's less, how this print is less than the one that we just pulled. Let me see if I can get them side by side. So you see, it's still stuff there, but it's getting clearer. So just simply, we're going to pull one color. So yours may have a lot of stuff on your plate. Those of you who've been following me, I know right now you got a dirty plate and you're excited to print on it, because that's what we do over here. We like all of our colors and all of our yummy buildup on the plate. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the stencil that's in the book. And we're going to take one of my iStencils that's in this scripting, and this is 3x5 symbol number 1. So if you go to iStencils, I'll have a link down there. You can get this stencil. This one we got to wait to come with the book. And then also iStencils has this stencil, and this one is called Scripting 1. It's an 8x10, but it also comes in a 6x6, and it comes in a 3x5. So, and this is Scripting 1. So you can get these now if you want to jump in and do this process. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to start sort of blotting with these. I love these Iroshizuku. They're actually fountain pen inks. Love them. I have a number of colors in them. So we're just going to start doing some overprinting. I like to keep my plate around because I find it's easy to stamp and blot with the plate there, because it just is a nice cushy surface, so it's really good for that. Now with the inks, I'm just going to kind of start by getting some color down. See what, just trying to see if I had anything left on my sponge. So I'm going to use this, it's a blue, and just get a little bit goes a long way with this. You might want to even blot it off a little bit, because it does have a tendency to bleed a little bit on the stencils. So just kind of press down pretty good, and you just want to. Now this, the reason why I like the matte is because it has somewhat of a clay, gesso style finish. So it's going to grab these inks a little better than just a, so you see we'll get, oh, yummy. So get a little bit of bleeding, but that's what I love about this technique, because it just starts looking a little bit more old world faster than a really crisp print. But as I was saying, with this, any matte finish paint, it's just going to allow these inks that are pretty fluid to stick better. And then you can always, they'll dry down nicely. With acrylic, if you have a gloss, it kind of runs a little bit more, but you can still play with it. You might get a little bit more movement. But see how already we get that really nice sort of line that really reminds you of an old world type of thing. So there we have that. And then, so what we're going to do, I'm just going to kind of piece things around. So I'm going to take this one, and using some of this sort of persimmon color, we're going to, we're going to continue to layer. You can use a number of things. I have a cosmetic sponge here. I have one of these foam buddies for those of you who have gotten my stamps before from 𝐈𝐍𝐊𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐍𝐿𝐍. These are real handy for applying ink. But we can also just go low tech and really wad up a paper towel so that you get a nice kind of dauber, and then just kind of daub. Now right now they're going to come up lighter than if you just went straight onto paper that doesn't have any coating on. In this case we have our acrylic paints, but I really like this very sort of etheric, very light color that comes. I really like that, and I think that it really makes for a and just kind of keep pressing, because there's a lot. You get a good amount on your paper towel, but this kind of gives like a really kind of old, vintagey kind of color palette from like things fading with time, that kind of thing. So so you can see I'm just kind of doing things kind of off the page, just a little bit, because we're just kind of creating this old world themed piece with scripting. So now let's go ahead and get Let's use the star of the show, this one. And once again, we're going to just kind of layer it. Let's kind of have it off the page a little bit first. And let me see, which color? So I've done this blue. Let's see what this raspberry, I love this raspberry. Let's just see what we get with this. It'll have a little bit of black in it, because this sponge has some sumi black on it. So we'll get a little bit of that. This is probably going to bleed a lot because it's pretty juicy right from the start. But oh, that's good. Love it. Let's kind of do it like this now. You get the most off the first time around, and then it starts getting a little thinner, which kind of, you know, decreases the chance for it bleeding, but the sponge also will suck stuff back up. So we kind of start getting this really nice kind of vintagey kind of feeling. And you literally can just have at it with this sort of over painting with the stencil by moving it around with the inks and just doing this on top of the gel prints. Let's do a little bit of this down this side. And you can just take bits of the stencil, you know, just use bits and pieces of it. You don't have to use the whole thing. And also I like to change, you know, just make sure you see how I'm switching things around and changing direction. That's always a good thing to do, because then it allows for your collage paper to kind of go, no matter which direction you're putting things down or you get a piece, you can really do quite a bit with it. Let's see. Let's kind of go up here. And it's just that easy. So pull a number of sheets of background. Just get your backgrounds going. Pull out any of your stencils. I'm using scripting ones, but whatever you have. And you can use any ink, even if you have like an India ink, that's fine. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll come back with, I'll show you on another, put this to the side and let it dry. On another sheet, I'll even clean it. And you can get this real, let me see, with a little bit of alcohol, just a little bit of alcohol to move things around. You can literally clean your stencil off onto another sheet. And, oh boy, wait a second, we've got people vacuuming. Just a minute. I trust I'm going to get through this video. The last time I stopped this thing is because a fire alarm went off. And I'm standing outside with the other artist here at the studio for the last 15 minutes. See how you get this really washed effect? And that's just from cleaning the stencil. And all you have to do is use a little bit of alcohol. Just a little bit of rubbing alcohol, because what it does, and you can just keep on using it, what happens is it gets thinner and lighter, but it cleans, you can clean the stencil, and so doing, get this really neat print. You see how it's getting lighter and lighter, and then I just kind of do this all over the page, and then you can come back and coffee stain them. I'll show you at the end what that looks like. So this, now of course, if you want a nice crisp image from this stamp, then of course you're just going to use, you know, paint on the gel plate as normal, as you would with the stencil, and you'll be able to pull a really beautiful, more accurate type of, but I wanted to show this because I don't think a lot of times people, I know in my community, when I first showed this, you know, a lot of my patrons like, oh my goodness, I would have thought to use fountain inks, and I'll make sure the inks are linked below. But they really do work nice with the stencils, and you just get this really dreamy kind of look. And it's a good way to clean your stencil off. So I have some pages that I was working on earlier that I can show you that are already coffee stained. So let's put this aside. So here are some of the waste pieces that I was kind of cleaning things off and playing around with the stencil, and I just spritzed it with the coffee staining, and you can just see, you get a little bit of bleeding from the ink. Especially if you do it before the ink's really dry, like after your painting session, go ahead and do the this is just where I just, you know, clean the stencil off, and just by patting it on the paper and then spritzing it. This is just some other playing around that I was doing with the paints and the stencil, this tooth. And so you just kind of get this bleeding that happens, you get the coffee, and these are just all throwaways, but you know, we're not going to throw them away, we're going to use them. So I would do the same thing when you clean your stencil off, make these pages, and then here's one that I did earlier, playing around with the stencils and what have you. And here's the one we just did. So have fun with the stencils and ink on top of like a nice matte. Even the paper artsy fresco paints are really good for this. Any sort of matte acrylic, even the cheaper craft store paints are fine. Folk art, home decor, the chalk paint, I love it. So this is a low, you know, a low end type of way to get some beautiful papers. And of course, you know, once you do them all, you know, I like to get rid of all that white. It definitely looks better. You can start appreciating the print that you have. And, you know, you're just creating these amazing collage papers to use in your work, in your books, you know, your journals, whatever you're using. But see, all of a sudden, you just have this really neat, very eclectic print just with one nice pull. So you get a good background with all that yummy stuff on there. Just use some inks. You can use Indian ink. You can use acrylic inks. Any ink, honestly, will do it. And so have fun. Okay, so that was a nice, easy, I have another sheet ready to go, tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for hanging out with me. And those of us who are chatting it up in Premiere, remember, if you haven't done Premiere with me, please hit the bell, hit all, you know, you join the channel, and then YouTube will notify you. You can come in there and chat, and people are from all over the world. I mean, people are from everywhere in there. So you might find your next door neighbor is on chat with you. That has happened. Believe it or not, that has happened. You find the person lives right around the corner from you, and can go on to be, you know, art buddies and that kind of thing, which is so much fun. If you enjoyed this video, please thumb it up, and that helps push it out. And I guess that's everything. The link for all of the supplies will be below. If you haven't gotten the book yet, please jump in and grab it on Amazon. You still have time for it to be sent out at the end of October. And that's everything. So love you guys, and until next week, happy creating. Bye-bye.